It was the 70s. They lived dangerously. This is The Void. We're here at Frankie's Pizza. We're here with Beastwars. How are you, gentlemen?
Fucking great, thanks.
I think we've come here a few times before, but Frankie's has now allowed us to actually put it on the tour circuit because they pay a bit of money, guarantee.
Take care of you.
Yeah, which is I think Sydney was kind of missing.
Yeah, well, it's really good to have a small bar that cares about rock and roll here. It's a big deal. Well, you guys have made some really great stuff. The new album's amazing. Like, it's amazing. It's like a little world in itself.
3 years of insanity and craziness and Black Days. Our song on that album, Black Days, is kind of a reference to, even though we're old, we're susceptible to having a really good time.
Susceptible to having a really good time. You're still at risk of having a really good time.
Yeah, we're still at risk and we love it. I mean,
did you live a bit dangerously? Did you do it? Yeah.
When I was younger, I did. I mean, when I was younger, I totally did.
Yeah. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, but when it's older, it's just like it's even. I don't know. It's kind of there's a sadness to being wasted, being that high, or I think the come downs and us arguing at the airport about irrational things that actually aren't. They actually aren't happening.
Just us coming down.
Yeah, the mind is like it's not actually happening. And with this record, there was a lot of moments like that. And then I think just before the end, when we actually were recording it, I think I fell down the stairs on the first. I was drinking. I fell down the stairs, and I think I was like, no, fuck this. I'm not going to drink anymore. And then I went back and did the whole album, my vocal stuff, sober. And I think I got an amazing result out of it.
You really did.
I think it gave you a different perspective on what you'd been doing, and you didn't change what the songs were about, but they came from a different place.
When I was young, I loved alcohol. It was awesome. I just loved it. But as you grow older, you do look back and go,
what the hell did I just do?
Blacking out at 45. That was another reason. I was like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
It's part of the learning process of, like I was saying, we've learned as a band, but there's also been that. Like I'm the same. I like I've liked.
Particularly likes a good time.
Yeah,
I love a good time.
James particularly likes a good time. Everyone, just note that.
But learning how to balance that with life, how to balance that with because when you're young and you go and do that, you bounce back. But when you're old and you go and do that, you still have the things that you need to do.
Maybe some music came out of that. Did you write any songs when you were in that kind of a dark place?
That album, I'm really proud of it because it's like I feel like I've let go of a lot of stuff, and they're all people and places and events. Those songs to me.
Have you ever told anyone that you wrote a song about them?
No, I still say it's never about them.
Even when it's really clearly obvious that it is.
Clearly obvious. But I'm not to give them
Yeah, they don't need to know that.
the satisfaction that maybe they might have short-circuited me. And
The other thing is, it's about you in that situation. It's not necessarily about them. So you're going to tell it's about them, and they're going to look at it and go, "What the fuck?"
But I did get good feedback, even though I was going,
It's not about you.
yeah, this song's good.
Which song? Just out of interest.
Witches is definitely a song, but it's about...
Witches is amazing.
That was, I was at this party in Auckland, and I just met this person, and it was quite an awesome night, great night, and at one stage I swear I saw this woman doing incantations. I just really, my mind's eye was going, oh my God, this is bigger than what we're seeing here. There's a lot of magic going down here, and that turned...
Casual magic?
No, there was elements of dark. I mean, I flew back to because I was flatting with a guitar player, Clayton, and I flew back and I just crashed out on the couch, and I just got a nudge like, oi, and he said, I've written this, and I listened to it. I went, fuck, it's amazing, and I said I want to sing it. So I sang 2 versions, and those 2 versions are basically the one song now. So I'm really, really happy, and proud of that song.
Yeah, it's got mystical vibes. It's got.
It comes out next week.
Tell us a little bit about it.
We got a group of musicians who learnt the song, who are all female, and we just actually performed with the drummer, Rachel, at a Auckland show last week. She came up on stage. And
she plays in a band called Green Fog, who supported us. Yeah.
That was great. Packed house. First time we've ever, I played with a female in the band.
You've never played? Have you ever played with a woman before? That sounds wrong. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have.
What are you asking?
But no, I used to play in a band in London with a female member.
Yeah. I think it's really important. Like, there's a real problem in film and music where there aren't many women, and that means stories aren't being told through female eyes, and we're not having that balance. Because women have a lot of warfare, and there's a lot of warfare in being a woman. Like,
watch a woman give birth and see how strong they are.
That's some tough shit. Like,
Take a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Much more than men.
Yeah. That's cool. So it's like a performance kind of thing, and
They learnt the song, and when I went and saw the kind of like an auditional rehearsal with the director, and I was watching it like going, well, I don't know about this. But once I saw the cut last week, it hasn't been coloured yet, I was like, fuck, I think this is pretty special.
yeah, awesome.
A lot of people have never heard of us, so when they see this video, they're going to be pretty confused when they find out it's us. Because this band looks great.
Yeah. They shaved. Yeah. They had a shave.
And they look fantastic. The singer, she looks across, and she looks like she's very male-female. Robert Plant sort of.
I've been thinking about it a lot, like as kind of pop music happened and sort of producers like Max Martin kind of brought in this really over-polished, very Swedish, big, clean sound. That's kind of risen up, and in kind of response and reaction, I feel like there's becoming a really strong network of this sludgy rock and roll, which Cherry Rock last year was a very good example of.
Return to an era of the underground, and I think we all just got a bit confused there for a while because the underground went, certain bands sold millions of records, but now we're just back to how it was before. It's DIY, it's punk rock. It's like you just have to keep on going and making your stuff. It's just
yourself and making it all.
Yeah, I mean, when you buy a record off us from our website, we'll pack it. We're the people sending it to you. It's no one else. It's like we've sold, we've sold a lot of records in New Zealand, and still they won't play us on the radio.
The radio is terrified.
And it's like, and the rock, which is the rock station. I don't know the equivalent here in Australia. But there's one guy, he does the night show, and he came up to me. We just did the show, and he was like, I'm really trying my hardest to get you guys on there. And I just really thought it was just a return to the past, where we can't get the music on because it's real.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem, like I worked in radio for a long time, and the problem, I guess, is most of those guys have spent their entire life in top 40. They don't really understand it. They don't know where to start. And I used to be really angry, and then I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just trying to be understanding because you just aren't familiar with this. You didn't grow up with it like we did. You didn't.
A show.
No, they don't even understand it. They haven't felt it the way an entire section of the world.
Your life only going to our festivals or big like arena shows, you're so missing out because some of the most craziest magic I've ever seen has been in small bars, small clubs.
So, when I was a kid, I used to scour. I used to read the backs of the records that I liked. The Buttholes and the Sonic Youths and the Black Flag records, and see who they thanked, who Big Black thanked, and then I'd go and look for records by them. I'd look for records on that label, and I'd find the music that I wanted to hear, because I wasn't necessarily interested in what was being handed to me. I was looking for people who were challenging themselves, or just playing something that they felt. And time and time again, you see that the people who make music that they want to make, that means something to them, they're still here making music that's meaningful to them 30 years later, 40 years later. I mean, there's this amazing video on YouTube of the Melvins playing with Jeff Pincus, the bass player from the Buttholes, playing this live gig, and they're in their 50s playing old Melvin songs and old Butthole songs, and these songs have got so much life in them, and they're so such a joy to listen to.
It's like a wall of sludge.
But
Metal's the new
but
jazz.
we're sort of
Metal is the new jazz.
It's-
You're gonna coin that.
Well, it is because
Metal. There, we've got a headline.
it's played.
Metal's
It's
the new jazz.
it's played by a period of people who are getting older, and at once jazz was very popular at one stage, and then it sort of disappeared into the whatever you want to call it, and like
The ether.
heavy metal and grunge music was very popular once, and now it's just it's there like
It's its own animal.
yeah, and it's like it's a beautiful thing.
When did you guys kind of know it was happening for you?
when I first came in, jammed with Clayton and NATO, and we kind of had a little bit of a bash, and then Matt came along, and the very first moment that we kind of kicked into a change, and Matt kicked in with his singing, and I just went, holy shit, this guy is great, and he's feeding off what we're doing, because it felt like, oh yeah, we're gelling all right, but then Matt was feeding into that, and it turned into a unit.
Four people. It's four souls, four energy, four minds.
Alchemy.
Yeah, there's more power in four, than one. It's yeah.
And there's soul in voice adds, it's this,
I always thought of it as like if we were a furnace, then Matt is like a lens focusing. That's my analogy.
I
for
like an analogy.
But also, like, I suspected that we were good. It felt good to me, but I always thought, I'm just fooling myself. But when I noticed that all of the people in the audience, that none of us knew them anymore, that was when I kind of thought, we're actually we're appealing.
That's a point for any band when you don't.
It's not just your mates.
Yeah, and that's how most of my music career has been, is my friends coming to see me play.
Well, it's like when people say you're talented or people say you're good at something. It's like, no, I just fucked up enough times to not fuck up this time.
I was in so many bands from England, New Zealand. My main skill used to be just getting drunk and falling off stage.
Well, that's a frontman's job. I mean, in some ways.
I thought that was the main job, but that's really, in reality, it's not.
There's some other jobs you got to do.
You gotta have to sing some songs. You gotta have to actually do some shows
Well, there's an art to
and
that.
write some songs.
When it's interesting, there's a couple of points here. One is that when we bring the songs in, so what used to happen in the first couple of albums, it changed for this one, was the ideas for the songs would come together, and often Clayton, NATO and myself would get together and rough hew them, get them into a sort of what we thought was a rough structure, while we were arguing about and figuring out the number of, and then Matt would come along and he'd start singing
melody. Melody.
but ad-libbing to
Editing some of his stuff. I feel.
Melody first, or you got words, or
If I hear the music, if it's working really well, it's very easy. The whole thing will come into my head. There's definitely songs that are a lot more challenging and harder, and I've been like, what the fuck, this is crap. But sometimes it just takes a lot longer. But no, the stuff I love the most is the stuff that like.
falls out of your head.
The Devil Tooker came straight away. Witches came straight away. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know where Lake of Fire and Damn the Sky really came from, but they've turned out to be
They're amazing. Yeah.
very.
What's that great
very
song that's got that
songs.
Sabbath? That's got that Led Zeppelin-y kind of. What's the second last song? I've just mentally blanked on the name.
You mean Lake of
Yeah,
Fire?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Like
ju-
it's delicate.
well, that's.
No, you're talking about Devil Tooker.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Devil Tooker. I'm totally talking about Devil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm retarded with.
In NATO, and
It's great. It's great.
we he had two acoustic parts, and he played into me. I said, why don't you swap those over? And then he added another middle part, but it just all worked. I already had the story. The story was already there. It was
Yeah. What is the story?
that's basically about how jealousy and anger can push anyone away from who you love. I mean, sometimes you meet someone and you're not good at you basically don't do the right stuff. But
You make bad decisions.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was pretty. Yeah, I was pretty. I was pretty. It was pretty.
You've gotten into some mischief, no doubt, in your time.
I mean, for me, it was a very haunting time afterwards because I couldn't believe,
Did you do a bad thing to someone you really cared about?
Yeah, I mean, more like screaming and saying words saying words.
When you look back, he was just not a good.
No,
he just wasn't a good.
He wasn't good
in public outside a Ryan Adams Ryan Adams concert, where I suppose the rest of the audience would have been absolutely sober.
And you're just having like a fucking Sid and Nancy moment out in the front.
Yeah, and I
It wasn't funny. I wasn't there.
Turned up, turned up slaughtered. But totally made a total embarrassment of myself. And then went to this restaurant which I always go to and vomited all over the table. And like just like and everyone's like.
And you made a beautiful song about it.
Yeah, I did. I left $50 though. I don't know.
That's just.
I
$15.
asked if I could come back. Like, I waited 6 months, and then I went and speak to the owners, and they said, "Oh, all is forgiven. Come back." Which is like one of the best best places to hang. Scopa in Wellington is one of the greatest places to hang out.
It's great. You can throw up on the table. They'll love you forever.
Oh, I mean, I think I was vomiting in my glass. I was trying to be really good about it, but then it just went everywhere.
I was trying to be a polite spew.
Yeah, I was trying to
We've gone down
anger, vomit, and madness.
Where I was just gonna,
Yeah,
what I was
sorry,
gonna say.
we just-
No. What I was gonna say about, so Matt coming in and singing with the songs is, he would come in and he would say, it seems like that should go there, and he'd sing in different places than we thought would change the feel of the song. So, but he would generally come in after the song, whereas on this new album, there are a couple of songs like Witches that he wrote with Clayton, and Death of All Things, which it comes from a vocal line that he had. So this whole album has been different in its construction, and Matt has been. We're talking about his role being getting drunk and falling off the stage. What I'm saying is, part of the change has been him learning that no, his role is not getting drunk and falling off the. We've all.
Now he's producing music.
He
always has.
a lot more music this time, and a lot more stuff. So no, it was.
It's a great record.
I'm really proud of it. I think.
What it's been.
Made.
It's pretty amazing. Like I haven't heard everything you've ever done, but yeah.
It's a journey of our band.
The three albums together are, aren't they?
I mean, it's just.
Because it was a trilogy, wasn't it? Yeah. How would you kind of explain it?
When we first got together and played, and people came up and said we want recordings, and we went, oh shit, we have to record something. So we recorded an album. People bought it and got us to sign it, and we're going, holy crap, this is something.
It went into the charts number 15 in New Zealand. It was.
That's amazing.
So as a result of that, we sort of said, let's do 3 albums, and at the end of 3 albums we'll know either this was a fluke and the third album was a real fucking hard push and it was rubbish, or
we're awesome.
We'll know that there's something else. So
I think the others got better. I think we became better players, and I think we all we sort of mastered the craft of Beastwars, or who we were,
And funny truth sort of thing, and not
I just think it's just the beginning musically for what we're capable of, because the recording Death of All Things, we used to James Goldsmith. The guy doesn't drink. Really great way to work. His amazing work ethic, and we brought other people, other instruments, and we used a few people who helped us. Matt Reader, who's a guitar tech in Melbourne, he wrote a bit of a guitar riff for Black Days. We brought in cello. We brought in flute. That was interesting. It was really. I'd like to do more of that, like that Bad Seed sort of.
Yeah.
Stuff.
It's a good life decision.
It was funny too, because we finished the album and that was purportedly the end of it, and the way it felt, we were all kind of like, this was so hard. This was like giving birth. We're never going to have another fucking baby again.
Putting it out became 10 times harder than actually making the record, because Nato was our manager, and the amount of work that went into doing this album, we took it to a limit and took the chance and took the risk, but
You made something great.
Our fans came through and bailed us out by buying the record, and so it's been an amazing experience.
That's cool. Like you actually, you skated on thin ice, and you like landed the jump.
To make something that will last should be the quest. To make something
It'll last forever.
well, yeah, I mean that should be the whole aim of art or music.
Well, it's immortality in effect. Like it's the ultimate immortality. You look
communicating with people. Making art is about communicating.
And truth.
Communicating a state of mind and a state of being, and that space that you go into when you're playing, and bringing other people to that space. And if you use the music to help you deal with the stresses of things and to relax or to whatever, if you play music that's for meditation and you help other people to meditate with that music, then that's what art is about. Art is about communicating with people and reaching people. So of course you want to reach people. You want to reach people who are going to be receptive to what you do. So, yeah.
Well, you can save people's lives. Like
A victory, I think, to find out that so many people feel exactly the same way as you feel.
Yeah.
And that is.
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? Like
sometimes I think any individual can sometimes feel they're out there by themselves, but with music,
we reconnect to what we're meant to be.
Yeah, and people as a group. And the race was.
Death, what do you think happens when you die? Considering we have a whole death theme.
Your body rots, and all of the individual particles of the elements and the atoms that make up your body get broken down and separated into their component pieces and get split back around the universe. And any vibration, because the thing that makes you, the thing that's universal to all living things, or actually all inanimate objects as well, are any substance. All of the atoms of it are harmonizing in resonance with each other, and they're oscillating in resonance with each other. So that oscillation will, ring on through. If you resonate strongly enough, then that will resonate through. So,
I have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I find it's always an interesting question.
You're right, and you turn to do it.
I have dreams of hell, and I've had dreams.
Do you think you're destined for hell?
No. In the first album, when we finished it, I walked down to Dunedin Art Gallery, and there was all these paintings of the devil and huge crowds, and these sort of auditoriums.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is totally bizarre. And around that time, I used to have dreams of like a really, really old god. I can't describe it. But then my dream, I don't know. My dreams of I've seen light since then. I don't know. I feel this time's over. We'll find out about death.
No, we all will. It's one guarantee we all have in life. No one gets out alive.
Somebody died, and some crazy stuff happened. Like
They died in your arms. Yeah. Like overdose or no?
It's like my mother dying of cancer.
I feel really terrible now.
No, you shouldn't, because they have the hospice, which basically is they do inject you with drugs. But so much happens.
But you holding her while she died, like that's pretty.
All of us.
That's pretty powerful.
Her two sons, her mother, and her partner at the time. And when she did, I shouldn't talk about this because heaps of crazy stuff happened that allows me to think there's energy after life, because who knows? But everyone will find out. I don't know.
At least you were there. Like, at least you were there with her. Like,
I walked out and I had one of those MD. What are those players? They used to play mini discs, and I just turned.
You had a mini disc player.
I just turned it on, and it was Queens of the Stone Age with Mark Lanigan. You Gotta Live Till You Die. Out of all the songs, and I'll never forget that. So gotta live till you die. I don't know.
Gotta live till you die.
Whatever happens. We're not going to be conscious. We're not going to be aware of it in the way that we are now. So you better do what you got to do now while you're alive.
Life's pretty short, I think.